Reality isn't what you think. Buddhist practitioners believe contemplative practice is a good way to analyze whether things are as solid, separate, and lasting as we think they are. Do things really exist the way we see them? Do they exist as the separate, independent entities we usually take them to be? I and mine certainly seem to exist. This world with its mountains, rivers, oceans, and cities seems solid and reliable. Past, present, and future seem to be three different things. That's how things seem to most everybody most of the time. But it turns out that if these things were ultimately real, we would be completely stuck, because liberation from the painful confines of this reality, the main promise of Buddhism, would be impossible. If things existed the way we see them, all our fears would be well-founded and all our hopes would be worth struggling for. The inexorable cycle of birth, old age, sickness, and death would be the final truth. The Buddha would be wrong about ego because it would truly exist and egolessness would be impossible. Buddhism would be a delusion. There seems to be a contradiction between the reality we expect and experience on a daily basis and the reality described by the Buddha. This is because the way things appear to us is not the way things truly are. There are two ways of seeing everything. Whereas we see a world that is limited, confining, and solid, Buddhas experience the world as open, spacious, and relaxed. What we experience as suffering, Buddhas experience as great bliss. How could that be? Investigating the difference between the way the world appears to us and the reality proclaimed by the Buddha is a key practice in many Buddhist traditions. This practice of contemplation involves using our everyday thought process to help us discover how things are and how they are not. This process gives direction to meditation practice and is also supported by it. Once you get the hang of it, contemplation not only leads to insight, but also is enjoyable. It inspires us to go forward on the Buddhist path. Contemplation invites us to question what we experience. The Buddhist tradition tells us that what we ordinary beings see are our own confused projections. Our seeing is obscured by basic ignorance and the delusion arising from that ignorance. This is what is called apparent reality. It is not the way things really are, it is only the way they appear to us. It is like the delusion that takes objects in dreams to be real when we don't realize we are dreaming. Buddhas and bodhisattvas, who have overcome ignorance and delusion, see ultimate reality. These realized beings see emptiness, the true nature of things. This is like recognizing a dream to be a dream. How can we transform seeing apparent reality into seeing the ultimate? The answer is found within us. It can be unlocked through careful contemplation. Contemplation can be done alone. It can also be done in a group and with the aid of a teacher. In any case, we need material to contemplate, and the Buddhist tradition provides ample choices. In this video, we will take a step-by-step approach to contemplating emptiness. While contemplation takes effort and is sometimes frustrating, it is much more rewarding than just speculating about what emptiness is, which often just generates more concepts that obscure what the Buddhas see. Approach No. 1. Cultivating insight. The contemplative process of transformation depends on cultivating insight. To do this, we need to look closely at our experience. Normally, when things appear to us, in the second moment, we project concepts onto them and think the appearances are what we conceive them to be. For example, we see these black lines on the page and think they are letters and words. It is only because we are deeply habituated to reacting to these shapes in this way that sounds and meanings arise in our minds. We can't see letters and words. We can only see shapes and colors. The process of projection happens so quickly that we don't even notice it. We constantly project our version of reality, this seemingly solid world. These projections are handy when we want to ask for some cinnamon on our cappuccino, But to realize ultimate reality, we need to distinguish appearances from our own projections. Here are some simple contemplations that illustrate this. They are meant to be experiential rather than intellectual. Please try to approach them in as childlike a way as you can. Think about this planet. No doubt it seems like you are on the top. But what about people 10,000 miles away from you? They feel equally that they are on the top of the world. If people in each location point up at the same time, they will be pointing in completely different directions. Up and down don't truly exist either. Next, think about two people, one you like and one you find difficult. Think about a third person who doesn't get on well with the person you like, but gets on well with the one you find difficult. If you contemplate this state of affairs for a little while, you will understand that pleasant and unpleasant don't truly exist either. If the first person was truly pleasant, everyone would see them that way. And if the second person was truly unpleasant, everyone would see them that way. All qualities are like these, large and small, up and down, pleasant and disagreeable, beautiful and ugly, hot and cold, good and bad, light and dark, old and new, mine and yours. No one can deny appearances, but whatever appears is empty of whatever we conceive it to be. Ultimate reality, the true nature, is free from all conceptual fabrications. This is the meaning of emptiness, or shunyata, as it is called in Sanskrit. Second approach, seeing mirages. Basic ignorance is not recognizing the emptiness that is ultimate reality. It is the root cause of delusion and the bondage and suffering that come from it. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. First, we don't recognize the nature of what appears to our minds. Next, we generate desire, anger, or stupidity toward our projections, as if they were external objects. Finally, we make decisions, act, and react to what we have merely imagined. To return to the dream example, when we don't know we are dreaming, we might dream of being attacked by a snake, experience great fear, and try to escape from his fangs and writhing body, all without realizing that the snake was only made of dream stuff. If we can realize we are dreaming, fearsome images have no more power over us than a painting of a snake in a museum. It is like the experiences and emotions we have while watching a movie. Even though we know we are sitting in a theater or watching TV, we still believe we see real people in real situations on the screen. We sit there thinking, he's going to fall in love with her. Don't go in there. They're all going to die. It is nothing but colored light coming from a screen, but the illusion of a well-made movie is completely compelling. Dreams and movies are good examples of what happens when we don't recognize the true nature of appearances and what happens when we do. In our daily life, when we think about someone we like, we don't recognize the nature of what is appearing to our minds and think about that person with attachment, failing to see that we are thinking about our projection of a person rather than an actual human being. If someone we don't like comes to mind, anger arises. It's the same with jealousy, pride, and stupidity. All confused emotions arise in relation to our projections. In turn, these emotions give rise to confused actions. When a person happens to be right in front of us, we see or hear them, and in an instant project a concept onto what is merely a sight or a sound. Next, emotions arise toward the projection, and confused actions arise in response to that. This happens so quickly that we don't even notice we are doing it. Our actions then give rise to new appearances, which give rise to new projections, emotions, and further actions. These chain reactions go on constantly. As the great Tibetan yogi Milarepa said, mind has even more projections than there are dust motes in the sun. When we begin to recognize the nature of our projections, it is like waking up from a dream or recollecting that we are merely watching a movie. Gradually, as we do this more and more, we start to experience freedom from our claustrophobic imagination and begin to experience the spaciousness and relaxation of emptiness. What is emptiness really refers to? Is that a really empty space? How could we turn theoretical understanding of emptiness into experiential approach? Thanks for watching this video and keep supporting us. If you have any advice, queries, then leave a comment that I can make a video according to your choices. We will discuss briefly on this topic in next video. Until these, stay tuned on. Have a great day.